My mother, because my mother is a very hard-working woman, and against you know, a lot of adversities, my mother continued and fought to keep us all in school. And yeah, my mother, I think, is for me the most important person in my life.
I don't know, you guys. Okay, I'm a big Margaret Atwood fan. The most important and influential woman in my life is my grandmother. My grandmother has raised 5 kids, and then she has pretty much raised her 5 kids' grandkids. My grandmother's been there for me my entire life, and I know if anything ever happened to me or I needed anything, I could always call her and she'd be there for me. I love my grandmother more than anything. I have more respect for her than anybody else in the entire world, and I would always be there for my grandmother. If she ever needed anything, I would be there in a second.
I would say that the most important woman in my life, most influential, will be my mother, because she does a lot for me. She has a career and a family, and she's just somebody that I look up to. And she's genuinely a nice person, gets along with everybody. She's really somebody that you could model yourself after.
The most inspiring person in my life, I would have to say, would be my mother. She's always been a huge support system for me. She's always encouraged me, and she's my best friend, and she's been a huge influence for me in my life. I definitely look up to her, all areas.
A friend of mine, 2 friends actually, one here and one in Brantford, Ontario, because they both introduced me to another way of looking at life.
And what is that way?
My friend who lives here showed me how to look more deeply and without judging. And my friend in Ontario, she's originally from Cape Breton, and she taught me how to rise above a lot of hardships. Other influential woman in my life was my mother, but not especially from a positive way, from a negative way, from the way I was brought up in my childhood. But it influenced me to bring up my own 2 daughters in a completely different way than I was brought up. And I think I've been successful.
The woman who I find inspiring as a woman and a role model is Rosa Parks. I think it takes an individual to buck a lot of trends. You can't wait for it to happen. Sometimes there have to be an act of civil disobedience, and she just took it upon herself to stand up for what she believed in the most ordinary daily setting, which is, I think, where it matters and where we often fail to draw attention to. It's important for women themselves to, in their everyday actions, act in a way that is consistent with the way they want to be viewed, and I think we sometimes forget that.
Well, there's my voice teacher, and there's my other voice teacher. I think women in general are just inspiring.
Either my mother or my sister, and just solely because they have been so incredibly supportive of me and always remind me that I am loved.
My mother, because she's such a strong woman. She raised 3 kids. She has had a life all over the place, and she's a very happy, outgoing woman still, at almost 60. She's doing very well.
La femme qui m'a plus influencée dans la vie, ça se trouve être ma belle-mère. Parce que c'est tout simplement une personne qui m'a aidée quand j'étais dans la merde, tout simplement. Je pense que c'est juste comme, c'est une bonne influence à avoir. Quelqu'un qui va juste, je sais pas, juste te montrer comment faire, puis c'est juste quelque chose que je vais répéter après parce que je sais que ça m'a énormément aidé. Puis c'est pas mal ça.
Other than my divorce lawyer, I would say Rosa Parks, because as a former civil rights worker, I spent a little time in Mississippi, and I can't imagine any more courageous person in my life standing up to all of the white male fathers of the United States.
In my opinion, it would have to be my mother, because she taught me to be a strong woman and to stand up for my beliefs and to be who I am. Women are very intelligent creatures and can reason and are less aggressive than men.
My older sister, because she is just a person who gives back a lot to the community. She's an adolescent drug counselor recovery person. I don't know what her official title is, but she's been through it and she is a very inspiring person to a lot of people. Women are strong and powerful and balanced people, and I don't mean to cut down men, but I find in personal experience that a lot of the time they can think clearer.
Maybe one of my old yoga teachers. She taught me how to be inspired through yoga.
The most inspiring person in my life is my roommate, because she's an unbelievable talent. She works harder than anyone else. Her standards are higher than even her teachers are or her friends, and she's just an amazing person.
My grandma, because she was the president of Canadian UNICEF for a while, and she's really inspired me. Like, I'm an international development student now, and besides that, she's really taught me what we can expect from our seniors as well, because she's over 90 years old and she's still really active in her church and in the community. And you know, even from a nursing home, she still knows more about genetically modified foods than I do. And she's met the lawyer and all this stuff, so I can talk to her about anything going on right now, and she knows it cold.
Can you act out who the person is?
Oh no, I don't even know.
Okay.
I'm gonna laugh.
How about you two do it? I'll get the phone.
I guess I would say my sister, and although she annoys me, she probably has the biggest heart of anybody I've ever met. She's always trying to do something to help everybody she knows, and the environment, and the animals, and the babies, and yeah. She just always wants to give and do good things for the world.
My boss. Because she's just always giving and always trying to find ways to improve people's lives, and she's super generous and lovely and kind, and yeah.
I agree with that one too. She's awesome.
My mother, who is a doctor and studied to be a doctor at a time when being a doctor was not a typical role for a woman. So she's kind of my inspiration, because she kind of always taught me to I could be whatever I wanted, and to just kind of stand up to adversity and be who I am.
I've always found Eleanor Roosevelt to be very inspiring. She's a woman, she could have gone for the traditional role of, good mother, good wife, wife of a president, but she really established herself as a very smart woman and a power in her own right.
One of the women that's inspired me would be Sylvia Plath, as through her poetry and her literature and the bell jar, it's shown everything that people can overcome.
I admire my mom. She encourages me a lot, and I admire what she does. She's a teacher and she helps with small children, and she's very good at what she does and she loves it. She's always trying to learn new stuff to play to the schoolroom, and just watching children respond to her. It's very admirable. That's what I think.
My older sister Jana, she's 5 years older than me. She has 3 little boys. She has a full-time job. She's a full-time university student on the Dean's Honor List, and she has a house husband. So she is the most inspirational person in my life.